You're being summoned.
I think Good Friday and finances in my life, they go together well. Suffering and pain,
yes.
and finances. Sounds right.
But there's always a lot going on here in the world of finance. So, and that's why we thought, what do we know about finance?
You and I, nothing.
Economics,
you and
101?
Me and I. Whatever that is. We don't know.
Obviously, faith first when it comes to planning your financial future and just living your financial life daily is something we need guidance on. So we bring in the expert. We bring in Drew Blazsik. He is here in studio with us. Good morning, Drew, and happy Holy Triduum.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
Doing great. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Doing great here. I got some great economic data for everyone.
All right, great. Are you saying it's
I don't know how to connect it to Good Friday though, other than maybe we could die to our death.
Yeah, there you go.
Debt, and we'll see. Right now, the national debt. If you had to guess, what do you think it's at?
It is at 33 trillion and something. And
yesterday it was. Now it's at 34.5.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
It's expected to get to 40 really quick, and I think 50 within a few years because the interest rates are going up pretty high.
Yikes.
Well, if you had to guess, what do you think the deficit is this year?
For the year?
I
would guess $1.5 trillion.
You're good. You said you didn't know anything about finance. This is $1.6 trillion deficit.
Trillion. Yeah, I looked at your paper. No, I'm just kidding.
So let's put this in perspective. We owe $1.6 trillion this year.
For this year.
And Brazil and Canada, respectively, have a GDP of 2.13 and 2.12.
Oh, my.
So our deficit is almost as large as their entire economy.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right now, our GDP is at 27, so we are more debt. That's very dangerous waters to be in. We have more debt than GDP per year.
That's scary.
Let's look at some more fun stuff here. Real GDP, if we look at the average income, is $67,500. It went up, and that's what happens with inflation. Prices go up, wages will follow. The nominal GDP per capita, so per person, is $81,500 now because inflation, it causes the wages to go up with inflation, but everyone who saves money are the ones that are paying the inflation.
Yeah, right.
So that's not a good thing.
That's upside down.
Interesting thing. If you had to guess, how much do you think the average Irish person gets paid per capita
annually?
What?
Annually?
The annual
per. Back then, we used to be double them in the 90s.
Oh yeah, the Irish. Okay, so
and then they turned to globalism, and they had all the global companies come in the late 90s, and that's what really changed their culture. But what do you think the average Irishman gets paid?
$42,000.
$103,000.
Really?
But the cost of living is really expensive there now.
Wow.
And they're complaining about it. And I think they ousted their president.
Oh yeah, their prime minister just got thrown out.
He just got thrown out.
They brought in somebody else who was just as whacked out. Honestly.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't see who they brought in.
Yeah.
Student loan debt. Let's check this out.
Ooh.
28.9 thousand. Everyone average student loan debt. Total student loan debt. If you had to guess, you're right on the dot every single time I ask this question.
I'd say $600 billion.
1.75 trillion.
Oh my!
Wow.
Goodness. Oh my goodness.
Man.
Credit card debt. Let's guess that one.
Oh. That one's got to be $4 trillion.
Oh, not that high.
No, not that high.
So right now it's a little over $1 trillion, and in 2014 it was $600 billion.
So student loan debt is higher than credit card debt.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
At least according to the Federal Reserve website. I just checked last
Isn't that
night.
Crazy?
Here's another interesting
There's a
one.
lot of highly educated people out there flipping burgers. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And then
Well,
you
they're getting
have
$20 an hour for it. So
you got new home prices. In 2022, it went to a skyrocket, $496,000 per home for a new home.
Average.
On
That's the average price of a home in the U.S.
But it dropped. Right now, it is at $400,000. It dropped to $100,000 in 2 years.
$92,000.
It's a supply and demand phenomena, but it's because interest rates are higher.
Yeah, right.
So who does that benefit? If you could save your money, if you could save, that means you could buy a house for cheaper and don't worry about those massive high interest payments. Last couple things I got here is kind of interesting is if you had to guess, what do you think the state rated number 1 with the highest amount of debt.
State with the
And
highest
it's
amount of debt.
per income, so a percentage of income and government debt per income.
It's got to be California,
It's either
right?
California or New York, yeah.
You guys are very, very close. Number 1 is Hawaii.
Oh, my
Oh, yeah,
goodness.
okay.
There, 89% of people are in personal debt to their income. And then
Hawaii.
number 2 is California.
Oh, my goodness.
So there might be a trend here.
Yeah.
Or Colorado, Oregon,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Nevada, Maryland, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Now let's look at the flip side. Now this is some good news here. Who do you think is the least amount?
Ohio.
Well, Ohio's up there. Number 1 is Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
They're still pretty high debt, 66% of their income. Iowa, Nebraska, New Hampshire, and then Ohio.
all the hardworking people.
That's right.
There you
So
go.
we got some good information with Ohio.
Middle America. That's right.
Go
So
Buckeyes.
okay, so that's the picture. What's the solution? I mean, are we at a tipping point where how do we get back? Even with good discipline, can we get back to a healthy place?
The problem is that national debt is skyrocketing, and they're going to have to roll over, I think, $15 trillion of that national debt. So every time a bond goes, when it's due, they pay off the par value to the people that own the bonds.
Yeah.
And then they have to roll it over to new debt. And the problem is the interest rates are going up. So that's why the national debt, the only way is to get a new monetary policy. That's always been my solution. You have to have a new monetary policy to put these massive debt we have on a
You know what
leash.
I'd like to make a comparative for, and that is our national debt and our economic standing when Roe versus Wade became the law of the land, the legal killing of unborn children, because I do believe that the favor of God was removed in a particular way from this country at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I wonder where our economic standing was at that point compared to where we are now as we've
that's a good point.
continued.
All right, Drew, thank you very much. I would say Drew for Treasury Secretary. What do you think? Drew Blazsik for
President,
Treasury.
forget it. Well, I don't. I want somebody I can vote for. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Drew.